Wow, would you look at the time? Man, I didn't even know I was here. I'm too busy discussing things with some folk. Uh, I don't know if it's because my some of my theories are so out there, or it's just these guys' natural tendency to be like, "We're not," when I offer something. So today's theory is that the cross hatching pattern, which I think I have a picture of, I can show you. So there's that. Let's go ahead and pick a screen to share. Uh, I see. It looks like I'm going to have to. Well, we can start with. Here we go. And that's the end of the show, folks. Thanks for coming. Because I just get verklempt in the sharing of the screen here. So here's a Vinci artifact. And notice the. Oh, it's not being shared yet. Let's see. Let's see. I'll turn that camera on. Okay, so we have a Vinci artifact here. This was shared with with me with Science Boy Jack, and you can see the hashtag on their head, hashtag cross hatching on their head. But it's a common, very common motif, and as someone pointed out, it's also common in art. But of course, the way I look at things is that the Tridactyls were so influential on our culture that I could easily just say, well, maybe maybe it's so popular in art because, well, here it is in ancient times. So it's like they did it first. Vinci is also interesting because we have found some. It looks like, I mean, I don't know how much of this has been verified. So I'll try to tell you the truth as much as I know it to be. And what I understand is there is Vinci script found in association with the Tridactyls. At the very least, there's Vinci script in Peru on carved into stone. So it's interesting that we have this artifact with cross hatching. We have the Vinci script appearing in Peru, and then I was watching a Brian Forrester video, and he was saying that some of these Paracas skulls have DNA from near the Black Sea, near Europe. And Vinci is also interesting not only for early script, but also for early metallurgy. So there's another page I wanted to share with you. It's Florida Museum .ufl, University of Florida, and that's .edu. And what's cool about it is they have a ceramic site, and they have all the ceramics up, and some of them they have 3D models. You can check out the 3D models. So let's see here. I'm going to stop sharing this Vinci head, and I'm going to share this Florida site with you. Make sure it's on the screen. Okay. And so you can check out some of the pottery. And so what was I looking for today? I was looking for specifically Czech stamps. So most of these Czech stamped pottery pieces are made with either a fabric or a paddle. So the fabric, like almost like a Dunlap type sack, will be spread over the wet clay, probably heated as well, and so you'll find bits of the material in some of these. Or a paddle, a wooden paddle is carved and made into this. So of course, my theory is that we're going to see more and more hashtag like skin appearing from the Tridactyls, and you can see that a bit, I think. And of course, I just get the pareidolia all the time from folks. It does get a little annoying after a while, I have to admit. But you know, sometimes things are clear, and a lot of times they're not. So I'm going to find you another screen to share here. we're going to just jump over real quick to a little meme I made today. Oh, we got someone contacting me. Let's see who it is. Hold on. The bat phone is ringing. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Well, let's see if this person would like to be on the show. I do get people send me cool, fun stuff all the time, links to alien stuff and everything like that. A lot of times, though, I'm just focused on the archaeological and the ancestral narrative. And by the way, I do have a couple of cool artifacts to show today. If you're interested in seeing some possible Hongsheng artifacts, um, I'm going to have to extend my free Tridactyl head giveaway. It turns out people didn't like my ad. They thought I was single-handedly destroying any chance of the Tridactyls being known to be true. Yes, I became Tridactyl enemy number one on Reddit because I was implying that they were fake, but of course I wasn't because that's not what I do here. So I still have this to give away. So who am I going to give this away to? Whoever makes the either a best video or a social media post about my particular theory, the constant companion theory. That's to say that tridactyl beings are responsible for a lot of imagery in our culture, for myths, religion, maybe even for us as ancestors, because after all, there's certain people in the world, tribal people in the past, who have associated these beings with ancestors. Okay, so I was going to share something with you. Yeah, the sharing thing's a little wonky, I have to admit. I feel like it's been easier when I was able to just like drag like a screen. Like, here, look at this. Okay, cool. Because this system on the Restream is like multiple buttons before I get to where I want to be. All right. So I made this these little like science memes, I guess you'd call them today. Science and culture. Cross-hatching pattern on skin. Was the cross-hatching pattern found on ancient ceramics meant to replicate the skin of the tridactyls? So here we got a groovy tridactyl skin sample. Someone suggested that maybe those marks were from the cloth. Maybe that would make sense, right? Then maybe it was the same cloth on their bodies that was made the clay. That could be interesting for sure. But that, of course, wouldn't explain why we are seeing it on artifacts. So that's what everyone's virtual hunt for should be this week. If you're a fan of xenoanthropology, then let's look for hashtag patterns, cross-hatching patterns on ceramics, especially if the ceramics are found in relation to serpentine beings or cordiform-headed beings. It could probably be even a form of steganography. It's just someone letting someone else know, hey, this thing I'm depicting was one of these reptilian beings with the scaly skin. Because, the beings have scutes on them too. So I guess the skin on the left could be made from the cloth. But I do feel like we're probably seeing some scutes. And I see a lot of scutes depicted in the art in simple forms of circles or nodules, protuberances. Speaking of protuberances, my God, that word is a pain in my neck. It's a pain in my head. The protuberance, oh my God. Protuberant. I'm not even going to try saying it. The knobs that hang off of a wall in Peru. Maybe those are based on the scutes found on the beings. I find the scutes super interesting. I find the possibility that the skin is depicted in ceramics with these different techniques. So that's what I'm kind of on about, because it would be super, super interesting if not only did we agree that the fabric pressed on the right was meant to emulate this skin, but what if we find evidence of the ceramics actually being pressed with tridactyl skin? How cool would that be? Or I also saw some interesting linear patterns, which we might be able to find again. Interesting linear patterns that reminded me of the fingerprints. Yeah, the tridactyls have fingerprints. So I wonder if we'll be able to sample them and see if they touched any of the artifacts or something like that. That'd be wild, wouldn't it? Okay, cool. Let's go share another screen. We're going to go back to the Florida ceramic artifacts, see how that treats us. So we got to do our screen share here. And we're looking at something called bold check stamped. Okay. All right. Let's see. How about this one here? I thought that one was somewhat. Oh, geez. I have to turn. I don't like having to hit all these buttons just so I can share stuff with you guys. So here's something. This sort of linear pattern here. What is the proper name they're giving it? Fig Springs rough ended. It looks like. Okay. But I thought some sort of linear pattern like that. Wouldn't that be interesting if it was either replicating fingerprints or if they really were fingerprints? I see some dots on the pottery, of course. Okay. Again, if you're looking, you'll see probably a lot of different these checkered patterns and these hashtag patterns. But it's definitely cool that they have this. How about this one here? How interesting. Look at some of these. This is the outside of the pottery. And this is the type of stuff I sometimes wonder. It's like, was this made with something being poked into it? Probably. But then this one has some very interesting lines and just little cracks and crannies there. So, anything else of interest? I mean, you could probably go through here all day, and I'm sure there's other museums have sites. That's why I've been spending a lot of time looking on museum sites, believe it or not, because they're doing really good about documenting what they have. And here's another bold stamp style. They remind me of waffle cones. So they were definitely inspired by something. Were they inspired by local reptiles to do that sort of thing? Maybe. But remember, all our old suppositions, I feel like it's too bad that we're going to still keep, I feel like people are going to still keep using the same refrain, the same education that we've been relying on all these years when there's bodies now, and the bodies should be making people rethink everything, but rather instead it's the same old. I don't know. I call it needless skepticism sometimes. Um, I just don't know why if we have these bodies, why you would think it's not a good time to look at the myths again, look at the documented religion again, look at the etymology of words, and figure out why words were changed. Why were some letters removed from alphabets? Peter the Great removed a bunch of letters. And what were those letters? A lot of them depicting? A lot of them seem to have tridactyl-like limbs, serpentine bodies, horned heads. So what else? Anyway, I think that's good for now. I'm still on the hunt. Again, it would be really cool to just find some sort of piece of clay out there, some ceramic that actually showed depictions of impressions of the skin, which is why we need to see better views of the skin, of course. Good stuff. Let's take a look at some of our artifacts that we got recently. Okay. So you'll have to tell me, does the artifact count as a tridactyl artifact? Because I'll post things and people say, nah. I'll spend a day putting together a nice theory, little meme, hours of research, And someone's like, "Nuh-uh." Here we go. What's this? Check this out. Well, that is definitely some sort of fertility idol, isn't it? We say things like fertility idol, and I think that's even a misnomer, really. Yeah. What we should just be saying straight up is that's fertility idol. That's a mother goddess. Yeah, fertility idol kind of, I don't know. I think it kind of puts it at a distance, it puts it at a arm's length there. Fertility idol, when it's really a depiction of a mother goddess. So this mother goddess here, what do we have interesting about her? Well, I mean, her face is interesting, I think. Is her face tridactyl-like in many ways? Anyways, maybe not. How about the little guy there? Little guy there. Oh, little dude. A little dude coming out of her. It's wild, huh? It's pretty cool. All right, so I turned her hands here. Now, does that count as tridactyl? Or is that tetradactyl? Or is that why they do it that way? And I do want to point out, though, that this being is dwarf-like in stature and in limbs, and I think that might be important. Oh, look at where that hole is, right in her butt. Ain't that funny? I love to turn these around, make sure we're not missing anything. Does this look like something else by doing that? Sideways, does that look like anything else? You never know. Okay, very cool. A little artifact we had today. Groovy. So what else do we want to talk about? I should probably just plug this again. Hey, I'm giving this guy away. I've extended the competition. I was hoping in 1 week somebody would want to scoop this up. They did not. So if you would like to pick up this guy, I will mail him to you. It's technically Josephina. I like to call her Mama Kila, the moon goddess, because she has wounds on her that match the story of the moon goddess. So I thought that was pretty groovy. Yeah, and supposedly when there's a lunar eclipse, that's when Mama Kila is attacked by a jaguar. Ooh. So let me know if you want this thing. And of course, another big news is I got this groovy book today. Well, I got the other day. But it is from the author, and it is a book full of, and we could probably take a chance to read his report a bit. Tridactyl art. Let's see if I can get it in here without the, yeah. It's hard to see, huh? But anyway, maybe you can see, we can just play with the cover then. Let's just work with the cover. Because the cover is beautiful. Might as well put it in focus, huh? All right. So we got some art of some, hopefully those are wide-headed tridactyls and not like two-headed serpent beings, because that'd be a little too trippy even for my taste. So it did come with this little report in it. Mobiliary art of Pampacoca, Peru. A paleo art unique in the world. And here's the abstract. Rock art is typically conceived comprises cupules, geoglyphs, petroglyphs, and other features executed on permanent landscape features. Mobiliary paleo art also occurs on rock, and this study describes a painted stone tablet style from southern Peru called Antima Pampa. Hey, real quick, got someone chatting here with me. Let's see what they have to say. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna send out a link to someone then and see if they want to come on the show here. You never know. I like to talk to people. It keeps me going. All right. There we go. I can invite up to 10 guests, just so you know. So that's kind of fun. Anybody else is interested? But I'm just giving you a little rundown about basically, I think what this book is about, what this is, this little summary here. The main motifs depict anthropomorphs and zoomorphs. There is a persistent pattern involving human and animal figures, generally denoting one zoomorph for each anthropomorph. Oh, that's an interesting notation. Assorted abstract symbols located around the central motifs complete the pictorial frame. All tablets are painted using a variety of pigments made from ochre and other ground minerals mixed with an undetermined binder. What that is. Preliminary dating suggests the Antimpampa, style corresponds to the formative period, circle 3,800, 2,200 before present. Okay. Well, that's cool. So I haven't had a chance to look at this entire thing yet. Of course, I am a fan of the art. It's something easy to get into when you're an anthropology major, when you're just starting. I mean, at least the art keeps you entertained. Also, I have a chat over here, which could be fun. So you guys, if you're interested, if anybody's watching, you can also send me a chat. And okay, so got somebody listening, so that's nice. Let's talk Tridactyls. That's us. I just try to give you my own little updates about what's happening. I try to keep it fun by trying to show you guys a new artifact every now and then. I try to keep the show to 30 minutes, although I can probably do more or less for that matter. This is always streamed to multiple platforms, which include Twitter, should be on YouTube and Facebook, and a couple other sites too. So that's fun. I don't know if I'm being streamed right now on Twitter. I hope so. Not Twitter, YouTube. I know I'm on Twitter, so that's good. Anyway, maybe I show another artifact because I try to invite somebody. Let's see. Nobody yet. I don't even know who's really paying attention. But if you're reading or watching later on, listening, reading, no one's going to read my show. Let's look at another artifact. Woot woot. I don't know. Is this the male that goes with the last female? Okay. Well, he's interesting looking. Do we have tridactyl limbs or nay? Right. One thing, you can't always turn everything around online, and it gets frustrating sometimes because I want to look sometimes at the underside of an object, as I was trying to do with these New Guinea pieces. So this one's, I have to say, one of the weirder ones I've seen. Looks like it was maybe worn as a necklace, right? Well, you don't know, right? Were these things worn as necklaces? Or some sort of other device? I don't know. Or did they just put holes through them to cease their spiritual containers? I don't know. Maybe. Well, again, I was hoping to get some more people on the show, but we'll just keep at this until more and more people come on. I hope you enjoy seeing the different artifacts and keep following the theory, constant companion theory. It's my theory that these beings have been with us a long time, and the evidence is it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everything. We are a tridactyl-derived culture, is my theory. So stay tuned. I have another artifact here that I plan to show you. Of course, it doesn't show up on the green screen, so perfect. You don't know what this is. Alien Ed out. Keep searching. Keep being online xenoanthropologists. Woo, woo.